But Johnny, let's end the podcast going into a little Pokemon news.
Pokemon.
I was excited when I first saw it, but you guys will soon see why I am not excited about this anymore. So we've got the Nintendo Switch, or Nintendo in general for the Nintendo Switch, is releasing a game called Pokemon Let's Go. And I'm going to include the trailer down below in the comments, or down below in the description. If you have not seen it, go check it out. It's going to be Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. It's going to be on the Switch. Basically, one Joy-Con is all you're going to use. If a friend, like let's say you're playing at your house, I come over, I can grab the other Joy-Con, shake in, and then both of us can play it. It's going to be set in Kanto, and then also the catching of Pokemon is Pokemon Go mechanics, which kind of makes sense because it's called Pokemon Let's Go. I want to ask you this, Johnny. Will Pokemon Go or Pokemon Let's Go be any good? Because we've both watched the trailer. You're watching it again, I'm assuming. Is this going to be any good? And what are your thoughts of it after seeing the trailer numerous times?
To me, no. I'm sorry. You had so
Johnny just stops there. No.
Bye. No, I am sorry. It's not terrible, but you had so much more potential with this. The one thing that kind of upsets me is you don't get to actually battle to catch Pokemon. Which, what the hell is that about? I mean, you had so much potential in it. Yeah, basically, you went from, oh, hey, guys, you like Pokemon Go? Well, now you can come home and play it.
Well, and I mean, that's the biggest gripe I have with this.
Yeah.
Is that it's the Pokemon Go catching mechanics.
I like it, sort of liked it.
Because no. For Pokemon Go, it was okay. For this, it's not for me. And I mean, the thing is, like, looking at the gameplay that they have in this, it looks amazing. Having like a 3D trainer running around with the Pokemon on their back. I like the option of, hey, we're going to have, if a friend comes over, they can shake in and we can both do it together. But the thing I don't like about that's a separate thing, is like trainer battles. And I'm looking at it right now. If it's two of you, then it's 2-on-1.
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem fair. I think it should then be...
When we first watched it together, that's the first thing I brought up.
I think it should be hey, you know what? If it's two of you, then the trainers that you're going up against have 2 Pokemon. Even if they have 1, all right, they have 2 if 2 players are signed in. I mean, I get what they're trying to go to. They have Pokemon Go. They're trying to link it to Pokemon Go. They have it to where you can connect your Pokemon Go account to Pokemon Let's Go, to where I'm assuming from what I'm looking at here, all right, I just caught this Dratini in my Pokemon Go. All right, I'm going to ship it over into my Pokemon Let's Go game. I get they're trying to make more money because the more people that play Pokemon Go, the more people that play Pokemon Let's Go, it just gets them more money. But it's all dependent on, in the end, I think, who is this game for? If this game is for Joe Schmo or the random teenager, the little kid that's really like hyped into Pokemon Let's Go, or Pokemon Go, then this is for you. But if you are like myself, which the Pokemon game that I am waiting for and that would make me buy a Switch is not this. It's the one that I'm looking for, more towards the original Pokemon game, where I'm looking at the storyline, I'm catching Pokemon in that game, because to me, the Switch is great opportunity for that, and I'm assuming we're going to get a game like that hopefully in the next year or 2, maybe 2. But I mean, the thing that I liked about that is the Switch is going to be the ultimate of, like, with the Game Boy, hey, I got to take it everywhere. I can take Pokemon wherever I want. Well, the Switch, hey, I can take it everywhere, or I'm going to dock it and then play Pokemon on my TV, which that's the game I am waiting for, the more true representation of what I remember as a kid.
See, my gripes with this game are, I like the use of the
Like
Pokemon.
connecting the two?
Well, there's that. That's cool. But the use of some of the Pokemon Go
Mechanics.
Like having to throw the ball. But I want to have to battle my Pokemon against the wild Pokemon
Damage it first.
Exactly,
before.
like in the old game. Like, if that really, you have Pokemon with you. Would it really have been that hard to throw that old game mechanic from the Game Boy into there first?
Gotta get the health down low enough.
Because I know the Switch has the is it called a C-pad?
It has
the plus pad. I forgot what that part of it's called.
D-pad?
The D-pad. That's what
you're looking for.
Yes. It has the D-pad, and what did you do with the D-pad? You hit up and down and A to accept to pick your Pokemon fighting.
It's got really on one Joy-Con, it's got the stick, then under it 4 buttons in the shape of a diamond, and then the other one has 4 shapes of a diamond and a little joystick underneath.
Okay.
So, like, the D-pad part of it is just 4 buttons in a diamond shape.
That's fine then. I mean, use the joystick to pick your Pokemon, and then use one of those buttons to accept, like we always did on the Game Boy.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it would have really been that much harder to throw that little game mechanic in there. Like, I think it's really cool.
So.
I think it's really cool now that, like, I'm playing, I can throw the ball instead of, like, hit it and let the game mechanic throw it. Hit it, let the game mechanic throw it. Now I get to actually like be like I'm catching Pokemon. It's really cool.
But it's that Pokemon Go of like, hey, feed it a berry, up, throwing a Pokeball.
Yeah, and then it is cool that they have.
It's basically the Safari Zone.
Exactly. It's cool though that you have the like they made the Pokeball so you can throw it too, but then that kind of defeats the purpose of the other thing I said.
What do you think of the thing of like, oh, I'm going to put this Pokemon in the ball, and then she shakes
that
it.
Was mean.
Like, Pika-Pee!
That was mean. I'm sorry. She shook the ball like this, and you hear Pika Pika. I'm like, you're killing it.
You're shaking it. It's like, dude, asshole, stop shaking it.
Hey, Pikachu!
I just moved the furniture in here, and now I got to re-clean everything. That's basically what Pikachu's thinking.
I mean, shaken Pikachu syndrome.
Like, in my big... I want to say this again. The reason why I'm so negative on this is my Pokemon fandom, this does not fit into me or it doesn't jive with me is what I'll say. Because for me, Pokemon Go was really high on it for like a summer. Then I fell off. Like it was the big craze for that summer. You and I would walk all the time.
Yep.
Catching our Pokemons and hatching our eggs. Got to get that step to hatch the eggs. And I mean... After that winter hit, didn't play it, and then that next summer...
Faltered out.
Didn't re-download it, kept it undownloaded. So, I mean, part of me feels like this is a way to maybe get that re-excitement into Pokemon Go to try to get players to play that more again. But the true Pokemon game I am waiting for that'll make me buy a Switch... Because let's be honest, right now, Super Smash Bros., that's when I'm buying my Switch. I'm getting a Switch for Super Smash Bros. I'm going to be playing Super Smash Bros. But the Pokemon game to make me want to Switch, this is not it.
No.
The Pokemon game I want is the one that's the closer representation to the older game. And another thing that I was watching in our podcast talk about this, and one of the guys on that podcast said the thing that he wants to wait and see with this one, because we're just looking at one aspect.
Yeah.
This looks like it's a full-blown Pokemon game just with Pokemon Go mechanics. So, like, his thought was, before I give, like, a for sure whether it's going to be good, bad, what I'm thinking, he goes, let me see what gym battles are like. Because there are going to be gyms here. We're in Kanto again.
Yeah.
It's just will this game be, wow, the Pokemon battle mechanics are awesome, except for when you're 2 people, you're 2-on-1. Or is it going to be like, wow, that's really awesome. The story is like, I remember in the old one, but the catching mechanics and stuff is really Pokemon Go-ish. And that's going to be the part where some people like us go, kind of turned off by that.
It's going to be mostly for young, I think like mid-range kids, some younger teenagers, and diehard Pokemon fans. This is what this game is geared towards. It's not geared for you and me. We're casual Pokemon fans at this point because after 151, they just went too far.
Yeah. And they just kept adding and adding Pokemon.
We're at like 700 to 800 right now, I think. And no, I'm sorry. There's only 151 Pokemon.
Yeah. No, and for me, I was excited to see this trailer. And then after I did, I was very much like, ugh, like...
I'm not down on it. I'm just, it doesn't make me want to buy a Switch. If I had money to do it...
That's the main thing. It doesn't make me want to go out and buy the Switch.
If I had money to, I would probably maybe buy it for Smash Bros. Because I want to get back into Smash Bros. I love Smash Bros.
I can't wait for that. I am already bought in on that.
So I would do it if I could do it for Smash Bros. But otherwise, I mean, you're not selling me on this right now. So,
and the whole thing too is, I'll ask you this. This isn't a huge deal, but I'll ask it anyways. What do you make of the, not just, obviously they were going to use Pikachu.
Yeah.
But using Eevee.
Well, maybe because in Pokemon Go, Eevee's a very popular character. Because at the point when you and I first started, you can get any of the three just by evolving it. It was always roulette. I just deleted the app like a week ago.
A ton of Jolteons?
No, I have like Eevee evolutions. I think I have like 10 of them. I'll just call it Evolutions. I think I have like
Evolutions.
I think I have 3 to 4 Jolteons. I have like 3 Vaporeons and probably 2 to 3 Flareons. So I have about 10 of them.
Yeah.
Not to mention another Eevee sitting there.
You were just able to catch them at nauseam.
I was able to catch a shit ton of Eevees to the point where I was able to get rid of Eevees to get more candy to evolve these other Eevees and power them up to be most of them over a level 1,000. So,
I mean, I remember
that's probably why Eevee was probably the second most popular in Pokemon Go. And this is basically coming off of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, I remember having a ton of Eevees in Pokemon Go and like, I need a Vaporeon. Damn it, I got another Jolteon.
Exactly.
I did not need another Jolteon.
You got the one you didn't want.
And I eventually got all 3, but I don't even remember how I did that. Any final thoughts on this? Because I feel like we're kind of hitting... This is going to be, I think, the shorter topic of the 3. But this is just one where it's like, Pokemon game, I feel like we had to talk about it and give our thoughts on it for sure. Any final thoughts on it?
They just don't have me completely sold. Maybe when we see a bit more of a gym battle, it would be way cooler, way better. But right now, you don't really have me sold on it.
Part of me's on that train. It's the first trailer. Let's see what happens when we get a next one.
The other one, again, I'm not all for the 2-on-1 Pokemon trainer battle. Unless they're going to make it that much harder when you go against other people. I'm not sold on that.
You're not on that, hey, we're going to make it easy for you because it's 2-on-1. Like, we came from an era where video games weren't easy. I like the idea of having, so-and-so's here. Come jump in with me.
That's cool.
Making it a 2-player game. Like having the trainer just pop.
That's cool. I like that.
Kind of like a Nintendo Mii style where it just plops right in.
Yeah.
But speaking of, like you said, we come from an era where games weren't easy. We didn't come from the true era, though, of where basically how games used to be, like when our parents were kids, of basically where you didn't beat a game unless you flipped it. Basically like Galaga. For those of you who don't know what flipping a game is, I had to look it up as well. It's basically where, this game goes off of score. I've gotten the highest score possible to where it just restarts at 0. Where I've gone through Asteroid, I've gone through Galaga far enough to where that score just goes right back to 0. That was flipping the game, and that's how you beat it.
Well, I feel like the 2 hardest games I've ever beaten, and this is going old school. This is like, you mean the PS2 games and all these ones weren't harder? Tetris.
Yes.
On the Game Boy, from level 0 to 10, I beat the game.
Yes. It's really hard.
God.
I hated Tetris.
When you finally, as it starts getting like level 6, 7, it gets faster.
But Johnny, Cuphead's the hardest game ever made.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
I know. That's why I did the sarcastic teardrop. And then Donkey Kong. Or no. Yeah, it was Donkey Kong from the Game Boy as well.
I was never a Tetris guy. I was more of a Dr. Mario guy. Because that's what my aunt would play. And then she'd hand me the Game Boy. It was basically Tetris, but it's Mario.
Yeah.
With the pills.
Yeah, it's basically same concept.
It's basically Tetris.
Yeah, but the other one was Donkey Kong. I beat, there was no going from 0 to 0 to 10. If you die, you have to start from scratch.
One of the best games I ever beat, and this was camaraderie with it too, with playing with your friends, Turtles in Time for the SNES. That was
Never
amazing
played it, but
because
talk about.
Well, because it was a game where back in the day where Dave and I would sit there, we'd play, we get to a point, we lose our lives, got to start all the way back at the beginning, level 1.
Start from 0.
Mm-hmm. We basically memorized so much by dying, like, all right, this is what's going to happen, this is where each of the guys are going to come from, where basically gaming back then was trial by error.
Yeah.
Where, I fucked that up. Well, got to go through the whole thing again. Oh, got to go through the whole thing again. Basically, you memorize those first few levels because you played them so much.
You go through them like nothing.
You'd be
at
like,
that point.
oh, I'm getting further than I did. Damn it, I died. I got to start from the beginning.
You know, it's the worst that I like now, thinking technology we have now to back then. I beat Donkey Kong. You get the win screen. Fuck, I wish I could have taken a picture of that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
It was great the first time. I don't want to do that again.
Or remember the games where this was before memory cards and stuff, where it was in order to get to the place you were, you had to physically write down the passcode, like the lettered passcode that it gave you, and then you had to come back and go to the passcode screen, put in that passcode, and then boom, it brought you to that point in the game. Like physical manuscript next to me with like, my mom would be like, the hell are all these combinations of letters? I'm like, they're my passcodes, don't touch them. Don't throw them away, I need them.
Or leaving the system on
when you leave. I did that. So my dad is an asshole, by the way. I love my father, but he's an asshole. So as a kid, I left a system on. And I'm like, I'm so far. I'm almost there to beat the game. I'm just going to leave it on. I went out. I came home. The system was off. My eyes just got as big as I did, like, what happened? Well, I guess my father came in and was like, oh, this is wasting electricity. Turned it off. His response was always, don't leave your system on. I was furious. Furious. I know, like, looking back, it wasn't anything to get really pissed about, but I was furious. I was so far in that game, I was going to beat that game. I was going to beat that game, Johnny. He turned it off on me.
Oh, yeah. I remember those days. I always had the, don't leave the system on. Mom, I'm almost done. Please just let me leave.
I'm almost done. Just leave it on.
I had one time I was able to convince my mom because I didn't have
the struggles of being a kid, man.
PS2, I did not have
Kids these days will never, no, I'm joking. Kids these days will never realize the struggle was.
No, they won't because it's built into the system now.
Like you go on Facebook and it's like, dear 90s kids, post one thing that kids nowadays will have no reference to.
I need to hit one of those next time.
Blockbuster.
Oh, God.
That's what I think of. Blockbuster. Actually going to a video store, renting games to then bring to your house. Now everything is GameFly, PlayStation Store. You don't have to leave the house. I had to physically leave the house. I could only get 2 games at a time. Had to play them, bring them back. God forbid they'd be late.
Yeah.
You put them in the chute. And then you go pick up new games.
You know what? The other thing I was thinking of.
The shoot was great.
Next time I see one of those, I'm going to find the picture. Remember the N64?
VHS is another big
red
one.
thing that you had to stick into the top of the N64 to play certain games?
I
forgot what the chip was called.
Was it the expansion pack? No, not the expansion pack. Because there was 2 of them. There's the default one, but then there was the one you had the little like lever thing, and you popped it out of the front. And then you popped it
There's this little door on the very front, right in front of the game.
You're on N64. Yeah, N64. It's on the top.
Yeah,
it's small.
Pop that plastic thing out. Yeah, it was nothing.
You used the little.
You had to get a specialty one, like for Donkey Kong 64.
It had the red thing.
That had the red top. Yeah.
It had a default one in there, but it had a standard one.
But that thing didn't really do anything.
You used the lever, popped it out, and then put the red one in.
Yeah. No, I rented Donkey Kong 64. They didn't give that to me with it. They didn't give it to me with it. And I'm gonna next time I find one of those things on Facebook, I'm going to.
Yeah, I was right. The expansion pack.
Yeah, I'm gonna take that and picture and put it on there, and that's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Things 90 kids will remember that younger generations won't.
Was the
that
N64
thing.
your favorite system?
I think so. Pokémon Stadium.
I think it's got to be my. I'm having a hard time. Okay, I'm having a hard time here between three of them. Sega I really like, but Sega's very nostalgic. I think it would be either between Super Nintendo or N64.
N64
for me.
Come on.
Like N64 had a lot of good games, but man, Super Nintendo had a ton of memories.
I had Nintendo.
I think out of the PlayStations, this is gonna sound weird, but my favorite is PlayStation 1.
PS2.
All the original games that were like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot, playing the Metal Gear games on that, Final Fantasy VII on that, which as a kid, never got all the way through it because my game, I would get on the train, which was like first level, it would freeze. It would be like, it would glitch to where the train would just keep going and going and going and going. So you're basically on the train and it never stops. So I never could get past that because my game was glitched. Yeah, I remember playing horrible. Star Wars on that PlayStation, the top drop too, where it's like, and it opens up. Dreamcast was also another good one. So many good systems.
I didn't have all these systems.
So many good systems. Any final thoughts on anything before we wrap this up? They're probably like, guys, you're going way off the thing.
Way off topic.
You're talking about Pokemon Go. Now you're talking about systems. That's kind of what we do.
Basically, I'm going to wait and see what they show with the more of the game mechanics. But you guys have heard my gripes and what my hypes about this.
This is where you guys come in. Let us know what you think down below about Pokemon Let's Go. But the gaming stuff we talked about too, your favorite system. If you're as old as Johnny and I are, in your late 20s, early 30s, if not older, maybe there's someone listening or watching that is from the era where it's like, man, you said flipping games, and I remember what that is. Flipping the score to beat those games, beating Galaga. I tried to do it once because we would go to a restaurant as a kid, and they would have a Galaga Pac-Man machine. And I remember, like, my dad would take one side, I would take the other, and I would try to beat him, and I would fail every time. Because I think my dad was a guy who flipped a Galaga game at the arcade.
Yeah, see, my parents...
And, like, had the high score at an arcade.
My parents didn't do that. I would just say, hey, can I have a bunch of quarters so I can play this while we wait for our food?
Yeah, that's what I would... I mean, I would do that if my dad was like, no, I don't want to play today. But Pac-Man was also a good choice as well. Kind of... had the variety.
I think it was Miss Pac-Man, though, technically.
Yeah, technically it was Miss Pac-Man.
I don't know what really the difference.
It's similar game design to Pac-Man, but let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Housekeeping here at the end. Make sure to check out patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Make sure to grab yourself an MVP t-shirt down below in the description at our store, mostvaluablepodcast.com, where you're going to catch MVP each and every day. And then make sure to go on Apple Podcasts and iTunes to give the Rick and Johnny podcast a 5-star rating and let us know what you thought of the podcast so other people can be like, cool, I will check out the Rick and Johnny podcast as well. Want to thank you guys for watching on YouTube. Want to thank you guys for listening on podcast services around the world. And as always, have a good day, everybody.